there were a couple times where I woke up and I yelled. Hi, I'm Kayla. I'm a stay-at-home mom trying to live a simpler life. I'm skeptical of the status quo, and I'm journeying away from convention. Welcome to my 4-part birth series, where I will be sharing my experience bringing my first child into this world. We're talking birds and bees, midwives, the birth itself, and a pretty wild postpartum, so stick around. After finding a quality male who agreed to stick with me forever, it was time to make a baby, and that's where our story begins. I had been off birth control for quite a few years before my husband and I even started talking about conception, and we know there was always a possibility, but we didn't start actively trying until we got married. It was the summer of 2022, and I had never really gotten in tune with my own cycle, but wanting to start a family changed that. But that took some time. Finally, by December 2023, I took a test after a suspicious aversion to scrambled eggs, and I was pregnant. My husband was sitting at our desk in the office, and I showed him the positive pee stick. We were going to be parents. I sat on his lap and I cried for a bit of time. I was anxious for the next step, but I was also overcome with this feeling of, well, what now? Do I tell someone? Do I go see a doctor? What's the plan here? Because it was the holidays and it was super exciting news for us, we told people very early on. The first trimester was weird. Navigating the health system as a pregnant woman for the first time was definitely eye-opening. I saw a private doctor who then guided me to an obstetrician in the public sector because going private just wasn't really affordable. Then I ended up on a waiting list to find a midwife. But more about that in another video. I had an ultrasound to confirm the pregnancy, but it wasn't really the emotional experience I was anticipating. I just wanted to get out of there. I drank a lot of water as per the recommendation, then waited an hour. Then, of course, I'm in the ultrasound and they're pressing on my bladder, and I'm thinking, just let me leave and pee. So apart from that, how was I feeling? Well, moody, exhausted. I didn't want people checking in on me too much. I honestly just wanted to be left alone. I felt fairly nauseous, especially on car rides and early in the morning, but I never threw up, even though sometimes I wished for that release. And for a while, the only thing I was enjoying eating was pasta, just Italian food in general.
Oh, that's good.
Good?
Everything else seemed like a chore, and I was still not into eggs. No way. Also around this time, I started having a very heightened sense of smell. I remember getting mad at my husband because he sprayed the kitchen table with vinegar before we ate, and the smell was just way too powerful.
What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
And I threw out some meat that was probably just fine. I still tried to get a good variety of nutritious foods in my body, and even though I felt like I wasn't doing the greatest job, my midwife seemed pretty impressed with my diet, so I guess I was doing something right. At the end of my first trimester, I lost my job, and I ended up with the question, well, do I start something new or hope to get a few voiceover jobs? I've been a working actress for almost 10 years now, but my career never flourished into something that brought a consistent income. I did get some voiceover jobs, and my husband really put his head down at work, so I didn't have to jump into something new. I was really grateful to have that time to focus on my mind and body. I knew I wanted a natural birth, so I was looking for ways to prep my body, and for someone who never really enjoyed yoga, I started stretching a lot, at least 15 minutes before bed, almost every day. I followed some YouTube videos and just ended up doing what felt right in the moment. It was really relaxing, and it gave me an excuse to really just tune into my body and what I was feeling. I also walked the dog every day for 30 minutes to an hour, unless the weather was crazy. Spent lots of time outside and in my garden. That second trimester was great. I felt amazing, even better than pre-pregnancy. I had this focus that was tied to my natural womanhood, and it was spiritually freeing. I didn't need makeup to feel put together, and I had some great hair days. I was also loving my midwife who was helping me build knowledge and confidence. As per her license, she had to present me with all the medical options, but she was never pushy when I said no, and she left a lot of room for informed decisions with handouts and long discussions. Hey, mamas, This What to Expect When You're Expecting book, we are so totally over this. This is outdated. Put this thing away. Instead, go to Audible. They have a 30-day free trial. Audiobooks are super easy to listen to when you're on the go or when you're just taking that break that you really need. Okay, check out Tracy Donegan's Mindful Pregnancy and Mama Natural, which is Genevieve Howland. She has a week-by-week guide to natural pregnancy and childbirth. You'll be way better off, I'm telling you. Link in the description, 30-day free trial with Audible, okay? Love you. When I started to feel those real kicks, I was so excited. The only problem was when I told my husband, like, come here, something's happening, baby would stop, like, right away. Oh, and I have to mention that we did opt out of finding out the gender at our second ultrasound. We wanted the surprise the day of. There was a moment where I thought, can I get any bigger than this? All that extra weight was in my belly and my butt. From behind, you couldn't tell I was pregnant for quite some time, but I really felt the weight at that point. I had some restless legs and cramping during my second trimester, but now it had really amped up and it would keep me up at night. I also got varicose veins and had to stop on my walks just to catch my breath and give my pelvic floor a rest. I was doing my usual stretching and really appreciating my time on my exercise ball, bouncing, doing hip circles. I would recommend an exercise ball, or birth ball, whatever you want to call it, to anyone who's pregnant. It was my favorite pregnancy tool. I often found myself just popping squats at random times because it felt so good and it brought relief to my whole body. Generally, I was tired at the end of the day, but like clockwork, the little one would start doing the karate moves, and at one point it was actually excruciating. The jabs to the ribs, I thought they would break at some point, and there were a couple times where I woke up and I yelled.
He's broken my ribs, that's what he's done. I'm going to faint.
I was also nesting, but it was not the nesting I was expecting. I was scrubbing grout and obsessing over the weirdest corners of my house instead of like folding little baby clothes and organizing the nursery. No, I was on my hands and knees inspecting every last speck of dust. Weird. I experienced a change in my brain chemistry. Honestly, I used to be a pretty lazy person around the house, just messy and disorganized.
I guess I forgot about everything.
The pregnancy hormones changed all of that. All of a sudden, I was getting organized, I was focused, I was tidy. I guess it was just my body telling me it's time to take some responsibility because you're going to be a mom now. Get with the program. The birth center where I had my prenatal appointments also offered classes, which I attended. It was nice to get a perspective on birth that was so focused on mental and physical prep rather than the medical side of it all. My husband can attest to me being surprisingly chill, especially at the end of pregnancy. I wasn't stressing in the what ifs, I was just looking forward to meeting my baby and just going with the flow. It was summer, the weather was warm, I was wearing flowy dresses, feeling like Mother Earth and eating watermelon by the bowl. Pregnancy was a very transformative time for me. I got more in tune with my body, found peace in being present and grateful. It was a challenge, but not the challenge I was anticipating. I'd heard so much negativity surrounding pregnancy prior to my turn, and I was expecting more discomfort and stress. What challenges are you facing in pregnancy? And if you've already been there, done that, do you have any tips or tricks for anyone who's living through it right now? Let me know in the comments. I do acknowledge that every woman and every pregnancy is different, but I also believe that mindset makes a huge difference. If you remove expectations, take the challenges as they come, and enjoy the surprises when they're offered, I think you can find joy in most of it. It's also important to stay informed and confident to maintain your power and peace, and this translates into birth as well. So make sure to prioritize your mind and body. So who was there to help me on this journey? Well, there was my husband, of course, and I also needed a midwife. It's time to assemble a team, and I'm going to be talking about my experience in the next video. Stay tuned for that. If you've enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and hold on to your hats because things are about to get wild.